Capital Markets and Listings Education Series Presentation 1. Listing your SME on PSX Growth Enterprise Market, GEM, Board. To list your SME on PSX GEM Board, meet these requirements. Minimum PKR 25 million paid-up capital. Audited financial statements for the last 2 years. Issue at least 10% of post-issue paid-up capital to eligible investors. Prepare and circulate an Information Memorandum, IM. Publish half-yearly progress reports. Choose an SECP licensed advisor. Submit compliance reports every half-year. Disclose price-sensitive information as required. Pay a listing fee of at least PKR 50,000. Ensure audited financial accounts by a QCR-rated agency. Follow specific trading rules for the GM board. Offer at least 10% of the post-issue paid-up capital. Let's move to the next slide. Paid-up capital. Your company must have a minimum post-issuance paid-up capital of PKR 25 million. This ensures that your business is financially stable and capable of meeting the listing requirements. Audited financial statements. You must provide audited financial statements for at least the last 2 financial years, demonstrating a track record of profitability and financial transparency. Viable business model. Your company should have a sustainable business model and a well-defined growth strategy, as outlined in the Information Memorandum, IM, to be circulated to potential investors. So remember the following key points. Minimum PKR 25 million paid-up capital. Audited financial statements for the last 2 years. Issue at least 10% of post-issue paid-up capital to eligible investors. Paid-up capital is usually divided into shares of the face value of PKR 10 per share, although shares may have a different face value denomination. Let us move to the next topic. Issuance requirements. Minimum issuance. You must issue at least 10% of the post-issue paid-up capital to eligible investors. This ensures sufficient liquidity and investor participation in your company's shares. Offering methods. When it comes to offering your securities, you have 2 options to choose from: book building or fixed price. The choice you make depends on your company's preferences and the current market conditions. The fixed price method involves setting a specific price for your securities and offering them to investors at that price. This approach offers more certainty, as investors know exactly what they're paying for the securities. An alternate method could be book building. Ultimately, the decision of which method to use is up to you. It's important to consider your company's goals and circumstances, as well as the current market conditions, in making this decision. Eligible investors. Only eligible investors, as defined by the SECP and PSX regulations, are authorized to participate in the issuance and subsequent trading of your company's shares on the GEM board. It is time to move to the next topic.
Information Memorandum, IM.
Preparation. If you're listing your SME on PSX GEM board, consider using an Information Memorandum, IM, instead of a prospectus. An IM provides detailed company information and is more flexible than a prospectus. Include accurate financials, operations, and team details in the IM for investor evaluation. Working with an experienced advisor ensures compliance. Disclosure. The IM must be placed on the websites of your company, the PSX, and the advisor or consultant to the issue, ensuring transparency and accessibility for potential investors. Updating. After listing, you must publish half-yearly progress reports on your company's website, providing updates on the commitments and projections outlined in the IM. Here is next slide. Advisor selection. Licensed advisor. You must appoint an advisor licensed with the SECP as a securities broker or consultant to the issue. This advisor will guide you through the listing process and ensure compliance with all regulations. Integrated Equities Limited, or IEL, is a licensed consultant to the issue and capable of providing service to you. Best thing for Punjab-based business owners, we are headquartered in Lahore with branch office in Karachi. In contrast with all other 14 advisors are Karachi-based. So you don't have to travel, or your advisor wouldn't have to come to Lahore. Negotiate mandate. Agree responsibilities and fees of the advisor in a mandate. Establish a realistic timeline for the listing process, taking into account the necessary regulatory approvals and due diligence. Collaboration. Maintain open communication with your advisor and work closely with them to address any concerns or challenges that may arise during the listing process. Compliance and governance. Post-listing compliance. Once listed, you must submit a compliance report at the end of each half year, detailing your adherence to the listing regulations and any material changes in your company's operations. Disclosure requirements. You are required to disclose and disseminate any price-sensitive information or material events that could potentially impact your company's performance or share price. Corporate governance. Implementing sound corporate governance practices is crucial for your company's listing on PSX Growth Enterprise Market, GEM, board. These practices are outlined in the SEC's Code of Corporate Governance, which will be selectively applicable to your company. By adhering to the SEC's Code of Corporate Governance, you demonstrate your commitment to transparency, accountability, and ethical conduct. You should adhere to best practices in the corporate governance irrespective whether you decide to list your company's stock exchange or not. Let us move to the next topic. Listing fees. Initial listing fee. The minimum fee for listing on the GM board is PKR 50,000. This fee must be paid to the PSX along with your listing application. Annual listing fee. In addition to the initial fee, you will be required to pay an annual listing fee to maintain your company's listing on the GEM board. The fee amount is determined by the PSX and is subject to change. This ranges from 50,000 to 200,000 based on paid-up capital. Other fees. Depending on your company's specific circumstances, you may also be required to pay additional fees for services such as underwriting, legal counsel, and auditing. Subsidized fees. The GEM board offers subsidized listing fees to encourage SMEs to go public and raise capital. 1. Supporting SME growth. These measures are intended to lower the financial barriers for SMEs, thus supporting their growth and expansion within the economy. Next topic arrives. Listing process TOB followed by the company going for listing with the help of the advisor or consultant to the issue appointed by its management. Pre-listing preparations. Complete due diligence, prepare documents, and comply with regulations. Work closely with your advisor and legal counsel. IM and other documents are prepared with the help of CTI. Formal application. Submit your formal listing application to the PSX, along with the required documentation, including the IM, financial statements, and other supporting materials. PSX review and approval. The PSX will review your application, request more information if needed, and approve your listing. Initial public offering IPO. Conduct an IPO to offer your company's shares to the public, adhering to the minimum issuance requirements and investor eligibility criteria set by the SECP and PSX. We can help you in creating plan of action, tasks, and timelines. Here is the next topic. Continuing obligations. Owning and managing a listed company even if on GM board is a kind of change in corporate lifestyle. There are multiple things to take care of when company receive public or investors' money to grow. Financial reporting. When listing on PSX GM board, comply with financial disclosure obligations. Audited by a QCR-rated firm of licensed chartered accountants by the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Pakistan. These disclosures provide reliable and accurate information to investors. Working with a reputable agency adds credibility and enhances investor confidence. Corporate announcements. Promptly disclose and share significant corporate events with the PSX and the public. Investor relations. Maintain open communication with your investors and the broader market by conducting regular investor relations activities, such as analyst briefings and press conferences. Benefits of GM board listing. Access to capital. Listing on the GM board provides your company with access to a broader pool of investors, enabling you to raise capital for growth and expansion. By listing on the GM board, you can tap into a wider investor base that includes institutional investors, high net worth individuals, and retail investors. This increased investor participation can help you attract the necessary funding to fuel your company's growth plans. Moreover, being listed on the GEM board demonstrates your commitment to transparency and corporate governance. Increased visibility. Being listed on the PSX GEM board enhances your company's visibility and credibility, potentially attracting new customers, partners, and investors. liquidity and valuation. A public listing creates liquidity for your company's shares, enabling investors to buy and sell easily. It also provides a benchmark for valuation, which can be beneficial for future fundraising or exit strategies. Here is next topic. Greenfield projects. Definition. Greenfield projects refer to new business ventures or initiatives that are built from scratch, without any existing infrastructure or operations. Eligibility. According to the SECP and PSX regulations, Greenfield projects are eligible for listing on the GEM board, provided they meet the necessary criteria and requirements. Considerations. When listing a Greenfield project on the PSX Growth Enterprise Market, GEM, board, there are specific requirements you need to fulfill. Since Greenfield projects have no historical financial data available, it's crucial to provide a comprehensive business plan, detailed financial projections, and a clear growth strategy in the Information Memorandum, IM. The business plan should outline the project's objectives, target market, competitive landscape, and value proposition and strategy for the Greenfield project. Let us move to the next topic. Key takeaways. Meticulous planning. Listing on the GEM board requires meticulous planning and preparation, involving close collaboration with advisors, legal counsel, and regulatory authorities. Compliance and transparency. Strict adherence to the SECP and PSX regulations, as well as maintaining transparency and open communication with investors, is essential for a successful listing. Growth opportunities. A GEM board listing provides your SME with access to capital, increased visibility, and liquidity, enabling you to capitalize on growth opportunities and drive your business forward. Let us sum up. Minimum PKR 25 million paid-up capital. Audited financial statements for the last 2 years. Issue at least 10% of post-issue paid-up capital to eligible investors. Prepare and circulate an Information Memorandum, IM. Choose an SECP licensed advisor. Thank you for watching this video.